What's up, fellers, fellettes, people who don't know what they are yet? Welcome back to the Avarice Podcast, or for those of you tuning in on YouTube, welcome back to the channel. This clusterfuck of a show today is going to be a movie commentary on the film Van Wilder, which came out in, let me go back here in the menu, came out in 2002. And this film has a special place in my heart for a few different reasons. When I was a freshman in high school, right at the beginning of the year, we suddenly uprooted and moved from Central Washington to the Portland area. And I was new in town. Everything was different. I said pop. People say around here say soda. Just little things. I had no friends. I didn't know. It was a weird adjustment. And I vividly remember going to Hollywood Video and renting National Lampoon's Van Wilder with my father and watching it and laughing my ass off. And it was one of those films that is, I still remember the first time I watched it, and not from my perspective. It's like I can see myself sitting in the room watching it. And of course, freshmen in high school, don't know anybody, no friends, all these insecurities and all these changes going on, and you're trying to learn the world, and you're changing yourself, your body, you're maturing. There's just all this shit going on, and here's this film about this guy who's the big man on campus. He's the cool guy. He's got it all figured out. He's got the women. He's got the parties. He's got the dope pad. And it was right in line with the type of humor that we were getting at the time. My sense of humor comes from mostly this era of films, the edgier, racier, raunchier, more irreverent type of comedies that we were getting at the late 90s, early 2000s, some even into the mid 2000s with your or the late 2000s with Knocked Up and Superbad. The films of that ilk is kind of where my sense of humor came from, and what I like, what really gets me chuckling, which of course doesn't really coincide with the current status quo and PC culture that we live in, because a lot of these jokes wouldn't hit today. As I look at it here, it has a Rotten Tomatoes score of 19%, but it has a Metacritic score, or Media Critic, whatever it is. Whoever's logo is the little popcorn symbol, that is a 73%. So that tells me, much like many films that I have encountered in the past, this movie predates Rotten Tomatoes by quite a while. This is the early days of the internet. This is a totally different social climate. This movie wasn't put out in the era where Rotten Tomatoes was a thing. So that means that everybody who's reviewing it on Rotten Tomatoes, and mostly those are paid reviewers at this point, everything gets ruined. Yelp gets ruined, Rotten Tomatoes gets ruined. It starts off as a thing started by the people to be authentic and genuine and accurate and be the truth, and then it gets bought by a big company and it gets turned into pandering and profit generation. Essentially, it just turns into a revenue machine. Yelp with all their paid posters and all that kind of shit, and then Rotten Tomatoes has got this whiny crybaby, bleeding heart, millennial Gen Z bullshit that they shove down your throats with their reviews. And so 19% is definitely not an accurate rating in my eyes. The 73% is definitely closer. Again, I am biased because this movie is such I don't want to say an integral part of my life. It's not like it caused me to do anything, but this movie just always resonated with me. I've always really, really liked this movie and thought it was hilarious. And it's got a few tidbits, a few nuggets of gold there with some of the philosophy and some of the sayings that Van spews out is actually valuable advice. You could actually take that shit to heart and use it in real life. And it's worked into this comedy. I'm not trying to paint this as some great existential masterpiece. But if you take it for what it is, it's not taking itself seriously. You're not supposed to take itself seriously. You view it in the context of the time that it came out, and you don't have such a sandy vagina about shit. It's got hilarious moments in it, and it does have a cohesive story. There's a through line there. Anyway, I did not intend to have such a long preamble to this. I was trying to get more to the point. I've been trying to make it a point to do that, but once I get off to the races, my mouth just starts running. So anyway, I've got the film basically queued up here. I'm going to push... Okay, so I've gotten it out of the menu, and I'm now paused at 000. So when I push play, in theory, it should start the film right away. There shouldn't be any lag or buffering or any bullshit like that. I'm going to go ahead and take a pull off the devil. Maybe I don't need any. I'm going to go ahead and take a hit off the bong here. And in the meantime, if you are going to watch the film along with me, you can go ahead and get it queued up and prepared. And if you want to partake in a little bit of the devil's cabbage, that's what I meant to say earlier, then feel free to do so. You could always wait to the point where I say play, and you could pause it, get your shit situated, and then push play on your movie simultaneously with play on the podcast, and you should be raring to go. It's not necessary entirely to watch the film along with the podcast. I try to make it as much of a standalone project as I can, but there will be certain points in time where it is unavoidable because I'm going to be referencing something they just said or something I'm seeing, and if you don't have the film right in front of you, you may not know what I'm talking about. Of course, if you're bothering to listen to a movie commentary on Van Wilder, you've probably seen it 1,000 times just like I have. So anyway, I'm going to take a hit here to calm the nerves. You go ahead, sit back, relax. You ain't got to go home, you got to get the hell up out of here. Coming to yeah! God damn it. Gotta exhale and then do the coming to yeah. Every time I do that, it burns my fucking throat. God damn it. Shit, I didn't put the recliner back. I moved a bunch of furniture. I was doing some cleaning and I moved the recliner and I just realized I forgot to put it back. It's leaned up against the wall. It's not going to recline for shit right now. It is to recliners what the XFL is to football. No, I'm kidding. I haven't even watched the XFL. Honestly, being a 49er fan, having just lost the Super Bowl, I'm kind of... There's still a wound there. I'm still not over it. So I really haven't been paying attention to anything football since then. I have been avoiding wearing my 49ers gear, not because I'm not still a fan. It's not any dick tucking or anything like that. It's just that it's a reminder. And I'm not over that yet. I'm not ready to be reminded of that Super Bowl quite yet. I'm not ready to... I haven't yet switched to the future outlook and looking forward to next season and those possibilities. I'm still a little bit sour over what could have been this past season. Anyway, enough of that shit. Getting ready to press play on the film. So, get your spirit fingers ready. Hover them above your keyboard. Counting down. 3, 2, 1. Coming to play! Ha! Maybe I'll start that. We'll do the coming to play ha. Since I don't even really know what he says in the movie. That's Jack Black in Saving Silverman. And I've tried to look it up online, and I can't find it. I find discrepancies. I find multiple proposals, find multiple things that people are trying to suggest he sang. So I think it's ultimately just like a sound he came up with. It's just they asked him to exclaim some exuberant emotion via a word, and he came up being Jack Black. It was not beyond the realm of possibility that he came up with it, and he just, come on, yeah! And ever since I saw that movie the first time, that stuck with me. It's just such a perfect way to fucking express your excitement. Just, come on, yeah! Anyway, so point of that explanation was to say that I don't actually know what he says, so I think whatever I say is fine. So if I change come to yeha to come to playha, I think I have that artistic license. Okay, title on the screen right now, National Lampoon's Van Wilder. He's doing his narration. We're at the Sook Me tailoring scene.
So Sook Me's a little old.
So this is a bit campy, I gotta be honest now, and knowing what's going on. But when I first saw this, I was like, there's no way she's sucking his dick. They're just doing it. They're just going for it. Like, Jim fucking the pie in American Pie was one thing, but this is taking it up a whole nother level. I just realized there when it first shows her from the back and she's bent down, she has a hand on the outside of each one of his legs, but she's bobbing her head like she's sucking on the lollipop. But she wouldn't be able to bob her head without holding the lollipop, and her hands were accounted for. So it would have played a little bit better if she had her hand in it, but maybe they thought it was too suggestive and they got it. Here's Booger from Revenge of the Nerds. Oh shit, I forgot the jumper is Shermanator. Also, this movie is loosely based on Bert Kreischer, if you're not aware. Bert Kreischer, the comedian, does the Two Bears, One Cave podcast. He does Bert, or he does a whole bunch of shit. Most people got acquainted with him via Joe Rogan. That's how I got acquainted with him way back, like 10 years ago. He was in school for most of the 90s, as he puts it, at Florida State. He got an article written about him in the Rolling Stone magazine calling him America's #1 party animal. And basically, they kind of ripped off the essence of his life, or his college stint, didn't give him any royalties or any credit, changed the name and some of the finer details, and put out this movie. He said on Rogan's podcast that he probably could have sued and won. He was told that by somebody. So that is interesting, and it also says a lot about him that he didn't. Like, he doesn't care. That ship sailed. He's plenty successful. But it would be interesting nowadays to do an authorized Bert Kreischer, Van Wilder type movie, but actually have it be Bert and actually have it presented as Bert's story and have him in on it to actually give you details and do it more accurate and give him his due and its justice. I'd be interested in seeing that. Not him playing himself, of course. He doesn't look anything like a college kid, but you get the gist of what I'm saying here. See, he's got his fucking golf cart. It works out so well, too, that his name is Van Wilder and the Volkswagen logo is a VW. I wonder if that is just a happy coincidence or if that's something that they actually planned. I gotta be honest, I hate the fucking suit jacket look that started in that era and has just kept going, though. The emo crowd really picked it up and ran with it, but I've just never been a fan of wearing a suit jacket when you're not at a formal occasion. Not a casual suit jacket type guy. Just doesn't make sense to me. Like, when I see a suit jacket and blue jeans, it's like my brain has a short. I can't compute. So at the Van is interviewing personal assistants, so he's such a baller at school that he has his own personal assistants. Fuck, what is that guy's name? Eric Estrada? Is that his name? He does the fucking wig adjustment here. Oh, it's not here. Damn it. Stepped on it. Hello. Hi, I'm Terry. There was a commercial like that back in the day. I think it was a Miller Lite commercial or something where this hot chick comes down to go on a blind date with a dude and then she talks and she's got a deep man voice. Devin, that's sexist. There's no such thing as a man voice. Not when you talk like that. This guy looks exhausted from making his belly button fart. I hope his mom's proud. Got these super caricature, stereotypical gay guys here with their super obvious puns. I will be honest with myself and you. As an adult, a lot of the jokes in this don't hold up. It's not as funny to me. If I saw this for the first time today, I don't think it would be as funny for me as it is because I saw it back when I was young and I kind of remember, I have that attachment to it. It's definitely geared more towards an adolescent sense of humor. All that stuff is taboo for you to even really talk about when you're that age. So especially with adults or, you know, your family. So watching a movie where it's just open and out there with it's like, oh God, they're talking, because you don't even really know. So once you get older and Kal Penn. This is the first movie I ever saw him in. Might be the first movie he ever did.
What's your name?
Like this part here.
I'm Taj Mahal.
When I saw this for the first time and I did not know how this scene actually went,
From Bangalore, India.
I was rolling on the floor laughing. It was the funniest fucking thing I had seen in my life up to that point because it was so unexpected. You got this calm, kind of stoic Indian kid, and he asks him to do word association, and he says milk, and Kal Penn comes back with tit.
Say the first thing that comes to mind. Milk.
Oh, mommy. And now he goes, he opened up Pandora's box, and now he's gonna go on this fucking rant about masturbating in his father's woodshed. I just wanted to park the bulbous and take it to the car wash, baby, and get it waxed. Oh, that's right, he wants to learn how to muff dive. And muff dive is a saying that's so old that I didn't even know what it wasn't common nomenclature back in the early 2000s for a younger crowd to use the term muff dive. That's like something that my parents' generation, that was a term they used. So the fact that he used muff dive just amps up the comedy level of it. And he gets the job because he's got a weird kink to him. He opened up and showed his freak side to Van, and Van is intrigued, so he gets the job. I want to park the bulbous. But the fucking term muff diver, my dad used to think it was funny when we used to play Madden a lot, and at the end of the season, if you won the Super Bowl, you got to like create a player. I don't remember exactly how it went, but whenever we would create a player, he would name them something obscene, but he would try to find a term that was obscure that I wouldn't know. So he named one of our wide receivers in Madden Muff Diver. And he thought it was fucking hilarious, so I knew there was something there, but I didn't know what it meant. By the time I saw this movie, I had figured it out. But now we're on to Tara Reid, and fuck, this guy's in a bunch of stuff, but I can't think of any of it right now. He's the husband in that new TV show, I'm Sorry, which is goddamn hilarious. But he was in some other stuff. Was he in Dead Man on Campus?
I have got a very challenging assignment.
Damn it.
Story that nobody's been able to get.
That what?
No, no.
Huh.
It's
It's-
about who?
And this is Tara Reid, like, I wouldn't say in her prime, but she's definitely on the backside of the peak, but just barely. This is tan, post-American Pie, still kind of keeping it together, but losing control. Not wearing a bra, Tara Reid. This is still ultra fuckable. Damn it, she's a person. You're misogynist. This is ridiculous. Oh, come on, booger. I love that it's the guy that was running the detention from Breakfast Club, also running the detention in Not Another Teen Movie. I'm sorry. See, this is the kind of thing that probably wouldn't go over today. The only reason this is funny is because that guy's deaf and he doesn't talk right. That's the only reason it's funny. But it's still fucking funny. The first time I'm glad I'm deaf, I can't hear the booze. That's good. Oh, it's Darius Miles, former Trailblazer. Quentin Richardson. I don't know who any of these other guys are, I don't think. I love this part. Darius Miles. You invite them free honeys from Mount Julio?
Hey, man. You invite them free honey from Mount Julio?
No, Darius, you gotta pay for these ones. How many takes did they have to get of Darius Miles saying that line, and that's the best they came up with? You invite them free honeys from Mount Julio? He sounds like he's chewing on gum or something. You invite him free money from Mount Julio? He's barely separating his lips. And now they come out, and I guess the secret was that they just had to dunk the ball a bunch. Why weren't they trying to dunk the ball in the first half? Silly assholes. Maybe they had all the white guys in. He gives them a motivational speech, and then the highlights after that are just a bunch of highlight dunks. Said highlight twice in one sentence there. Fuck me. That guy has rebel flag boxer shorts on. What the fuck? And this asshole, I thought that he played a great cliche college movie, party movie asshole character. I thought he nailed it, and he wasn't in very many other things that I know of. I don't recall seeing him in jack shit after this.
I'm in the middle of ADU tradition here.
The scene that I don't want to step on it because I want to enjoy it when it comes. That's what she said.
Okay, I'll wait for you upstairs.
Look at how cute she is.
Now that the princess,
There's a weird thing that happens.
you are.
I can't speak for everyone, but I can't be the only one. As you get older,
These guys are just real.
you are attracted to older women, which seems natural, but like I can remember watching this when I was a freshman in high school and thinking, oh man, Tara Reid looks like she's getting old. And now I watch and go, god damn, she's hot as fuck. It's weird how that works out. It just kind of naturally happens. You just, as you get older, your taste just kind of shifts along. And I'm not saying that young girls aren't attractive, but you look at a woman that has some character to her that you can tell is actually matured differently. This guy in his beautiful camel hair jacket. Here's Jesse from Breaking Bad. The Guinness Book of World Records is the raddest fucking dude alive. He looks like some kind of half-assed cross-dressing Joker wannabe. I really like this party idea. All the girls are in wife beaters and boxers. It looks so hot. This girl that he's in the closet with, oh, he's gonna come out of the closet to his dad wearing lingerie and lipstick. This girl, damn, she's cute.
Party foul.
Ah, dumb though. Fucking A.
Next time you'll know better.
I'm gonna take you in the back room and fuck you till you know better.
7 years and no degree. You should have graduated twice.
I'm just kidding. I don't want to do that.
If you don't have your doctorate, you have
What if I got you pregnant and then I got a dumb kid?
my money.
Gonna have to marry you. I'd have a dumb wife and a dumb kid. I'm going to have this 8-year college degree, whatever that accumulates to. I have a rich father, but he's also stingy with taking care of me now that I've fucked this college thing up. I don't really want to do it. You do look kind of like Jessie Jane, the porn star, which is interesting, but that novelty will wear off.
Write that down.
See, that's knowledge everybody knows. Sometimes you gotta realize you're a poor investment and cut your losses. Write that down. But you see where Van gets that, because his dad says that to people, and then Van says it many times in the movie.
There's gotta be something that we can work out. What is that intoxication?
And this is just such a great role for Ryan Reynolds to be Ryan Reynolds.
Put me on some sort of extension.
Program? Oh my god. I see.
As you go.
This is what I'm talking about. I don't know if when I'm 70 years old if I'll think that this lady's attractive, but right now, like, I'm putting myself in his shoes trying to have to fuck this lady, or he thinks he has to fuck her, and I don't know if I could do it. I don't think the little soldier would stand up. I just don't think I could put my mind in the right place to be especially when she takes the wig off and drinks some tequila from the bottle. Oh boy. Can I cover your whole body in pillows? You lay down on your stomach, cover your whole body in pillows, and just have the goods sticking out, and I'll do my business, and we won't talk to each other or make skin contact other than the danger zone.
Fill this out. It's the standard payment plan.
It's very over the top and ridiculous, but that's what it's trying to be.
We didn't have to,
Like, aren't you glad?
This was totally in line with the movies of the times. This is after American Pie 2. You had a lot of stuff like this coming out. I love that dog. I don't like his huge nuts very much, but
You can either mail this in or drop it off.
the flashbacks. Oh god, that's the other thing. You'd never be able to forget fucking that old bitch. Oh man,
Monthly payments.
that wrinkly, saggy skin and the.
I'm gonna have to let you go. I don't have
Oh.
access to pay for your service.
Was she moist? Oh, I did it. Oh god, I did it. Oh fuck me. Were you worried you were gonna tear her skin because it's like paper? Oh.
How much money do you have? He has only $34. Damn, man. What the hell you gonna
Does she wear a bra or does she just tuck her tits into her underwear? You left her shirt on, right? Tell me you left her shirt on. I guess you could do that. You could leave her fully clothed. She pulls that weird old lady wool skirt up, that's basically dragging on the floor, pulls that all the way up. I always thought that this scene was oddly intriguing. They take him to a strip club where this chick, they want her to fart in their faces. That's a weird kind of kink thing that you wouldn't really see like this pre-internet. Like, where people, it's hard, I don't know. Back then when I first saw it, I was like, are people into that? That's weird. Now that the internet's out, you're like, people are definitely fucking into that. But it just seemed like a weird scene to have for me in this movie where she farts in Taj's face.
Jessie told me how she
This is a brilliant idea, except for the fact that they would have to go in the other room and write a new answer on their tits every question. These guys would only be able to answer one question. The victory of breast tits? That kid with the curly hair and glasses is in something else. What the fuck is he in? It doesn't matter. Not enough. Oof. Look at that eyeliner. What are you doing?
Bernstein here, and Wilder.
I like the pop of color with the lips. I look at her and the phrase wet and wild pops into my head. That's all I can think of.
Actually, there are many more. It seems
So she's been tasked with writing a story about Van. So her character's pursuit of that is basically our exposition into Van's past to know how we arrived at this point where he's been in college for 7 or 8 years and he basically is #1 head honcho cock of the rock on campus.
Step with the burner, didn't you?
Somehow she had no knowledge of him, though. That's probably because she's keeping to the books. She's dating pre-med dick.
Listen.
You hooked up with a burner, didn't you?
Don't be a fool. Wrap it to him.
Don't forget to check the quality of the turf before you step out on the field. As if you could visually tell. And, by the way, if you want to offend your way out of some pussy, there's no quicker way than to start staring at a woman's vagina like it's a granite countertop looking for flaws. Just pull back the hood and stare at it like a car you're buying off Craigslist. You want to... You want to take a woman out of a mood, go ahead and do that.
Saturday I don't do interviews. I never have. I never will. I do lunch, though.
My editor did say this would be a challenge.
Hey, second date with Emily. Blue brings out your eyes. Kids got killer eyes. Now I'm like,
There also is this weird dynamic with men and women
Is it true
where
your 7th year at Coolidge?
women
yes, that's correct.
or
So,
men will kind of break women down over time
Business.
if they're charming and if they go about it like kind of this hard to get kind of dickish way. Like right now, she's the one initiating the contact because she wants this interview, and he's trying to turn it into a date, and she's resisting. But eventually, it ends up working out for him.
Tell me about yourself that I haven't already found out through public records.
Because I'm not that way at all. If I got rejected, it'd be like, deuces, moving on.
Interview, not a date.
Now, high school, or I don't know about college. I didn't go to college, if you couldn't tell. I don't know, maybe it's something simpler like your keys lost or your girlfriend used to be a guy. I don't know. It's not like I went to college or anything. But in high school, it's like you have crushes and they last like 2 weeks, and then you go over and you have a crush on somebody else for 2 weeks, and sometimes 6 months later you circle back around to somebody you've already had a crush on.
Sorry, baby.
And hopefully, one of those times they have a crush on you at the same time, and that's how fireworks happen, kids.
First exam, most crucial. And not like you're on a deadline for the Boston Globe.
I also believe that this guy is a dick because he doesn't know any better, and that he's just super focused because becoming a doctor is fucking hard. And it seems that her sole interest in him is the fact that he's going to become a doctor, because later when Van goes to the party, everybody there, her dad, all that, they're all doctors. So I have to ask myself what the hell she sees in that guy, and really all I'm thinking is that he's going to be a doctor. But becoming a doctor is difficult, and you have to have your eye on the prize, and you have to work your ass off. So that lines up for me. The Naked Mile Run. I don't know how they get...
Really bad idea.
Isn't public nudity a crime? How do they get away with this shit? Like, I live just outside of Portland, and they do the naked bike ride. Yeah, that's what they do. The naked bike ride every year. And I'm always like, how the fuck do they get away with this? How is this allowed? Isn't it public indecency no matter what time of the year? It always just seemed like, and I'm not saying you shouldn't be allowed to do it, but I'm also saying, why can't you do it whatever fucking day you want if you're allowed to do it on a specific day?
Back to the starting lineup.
Is it because people know about it and they know to stay away if they don't want to partake or see any dangling balls getting stuck in bicycle chains? I couldn't imagine riding a bicycle naked. My nuts... First of all, they'd be like straddling the damn that little peninsula thing. And it's, what if you slipped off the pedal and it's just raw ball sack hitting the bar, and that's way too close to the moving chain for me? And what the fuck if you fell? Like, this is all... And there's bad naked. Oh, Tacos Patacos, or whatever the fuck his name is with the unibrow. Panos Patacos. This guy's been in other stuff, but I can't remember any of it right now.
Stigma. Yeah. You guys have best
I'm sure you're aware of our current stigma. That's not what he sounds like at all.
Not, best GPA doesn't get you laid.
Believe it or not, best GPA doesn't get you laid.
Anniversary. I am here to
I think that best GPA could get you laid, especially in college. But I think that
actually
there are time limitations that come along with having best GPA. I think that
It's very scary stuff. And I just
you're just distracted by other things.
how much is your time worth?
This is where he finds his avenue. He could become a party planner.
skill I've yet to tap. My undeniable ability to throw one.
So one thing that goes kind of unmentioned in this movie, I guess Tara Reid brings it up later to him, is that right now he appears to have it all. Everybody knows who he is. He's throwing these parties. Like I said, he's got the girls, he's got the crib. But if he were to graduate and leave, all of that would disappear, and he would be out in the real world, low end of the totem pole. All that status is gone. He's not going to be able to keep in touch with these people as easily. They're not always going to just kind of be forced together the way they are now. And his life would be drastically different. So it would almost be, I mean, you could compare it to a pro athlete kind of retiring in a way, where they have their identity is based around this thing, and then if it were to suddenly end, who are they? And he clearly hasn't had any career type interests. But here's how he finds his way out. He can be a party planner. He says that they're fascinated with men that have larger than normal medulla oblongatas, but we learned from the water boy that the medulla oblongata is the portion of the brain that controls anger and aggression. Mama said alligators are ornery because they got all them teeth but no toothbrush.
That's a joke. I mean, he tries to.
Mama's right!
A good writer gets her story no matter what.
So, those guys definitely don't have larger than normal medulla oblongatas because they're not aggressive at all. So it would have been just, like, what if he'd said larger than normal frontal lobes? That joke still works because your dick's in the front, larger than normal, and the frontal lobe is an area of the brain that it might be actually larger on those gentlemen, because I really doubt their medulla oblongata is doing the bulk of the heavy lifting in that team. Oh, I missed the name. It's Naomi. I moan backwards. To this day, I cannot hear the name Naomi without thinking that's I moan backwards. Because it is. Naomi, with an I, is I moan backwards. Granted, I'm a man and I think about sex like 4 times every second, but that has nothing to do with it. What is this fucking... He looks like a character from a 1940s Disney movie or something. This Bernstein Bears bullshit. You have a Mother Goose themed party? That fucking asshole's dressed like a cow. Ugh. I don't like that phraseology. Sucks rectum. That just makes me think of getting shit in your mouth. Ugh. Pushes your buttons a little bit. Terms like that get thrown around, and I don't think people ever actually, like, connect what they're actually saying to the intent, if that makes sense. He's saying it sucks rectum, just, you know, this is a terrible party. But I don't think he actually, like, is picturing what it would be like to suck rectum. I know some people are into that. If that's your thing, good for you. However you get your jollies off behind closed doors, it's none of my business, but... I just think about getting shit in my mouth, and I'm like, nah. He's about to say, how do you put a price on Punani? And it's like, motherfucker, you ever heard of Craigslist? There's plenty of bitches putting a price on Punani. No, they hadn't heard of Craigslist. It didn't exist yet. But that's a weird line to put in there for me. How do you put a price on Punani? That's such a naive statement. There's definitely a market value on pussy, especially if you go to Vegas. You can get that shit figured out. It is not as high of a value as you think. Like, they're acting like they just won the lottery. You can have that shit for like $200 or something, probably. 1,000 if you want a high class one, according to Turtle and Entourage.
Thanks for the story.
I only pay for pussy with profits.
Brilliant, Pearson. I've been inundated with people telling me how much they enjoy reading about this guy. They want more, and so do I. I want you to do it.
What are you, bugged? Do I need to frisk you?
Even if I tell you it's gonna be
Her lips are a lighter shade than they were before. When she was wearing the red, she had darker red lips, and now she's wearing the black and she's got the pink lips. I think I still would have gone with the red, Tara, if you're listening. I know you're a big fan. I have lots of fans. I have like over 12 fans. My podcast has been listened to over 13 times. I have over 25 subscribers on YouTube. My videos have been viewed at least 100 times. I'm really coming up in the world. I'm surprised there's not a Wikipedia about me, to be honest.
Terrible.
I truly have become the Van Wilder of real life, but nobody seems to know it but me. Oh yeah, from the paper. When's the last time you saw papers? Paper. When's the last time you saw papers? Paper. Oh, Waterworld. I should do a Waterworld commentary, but I think that's a long fucking movie. If I remember right, that's like a 3-hour movie, isn't it? Isn't it? Why don't we just go to the sun at night when it's cold, isn't it?
This is why I don't do interviews.
I'm Isaiah with Buzz Lightyear.
You're irresponsible reporting.
I recorded quotes that you received when you phoned.
Recorded?
Recorded.
Recorded? What are you, bug? Money to
What's crazy is, like, you can tell that Ryan Reynolds has aged from then to today. This is 18 years ago.
They paid me, but that's not the only reason I did it.
But it's not drastic.
Those lambs are
He still
cool
looks
now.
pretty damn good.
To realize it.
I know I would. See, I got excited earlier when he came out of the closet in the lingerie with the lipstick on, because that's what I'm into. But then the girl popped out, so I kind of had to shelter my feelings. And I don't know why I chose this moment now to bring them out. But maybe it's because he's about to get naked, and I'm going to have to do a little bit of... We'll have to see how the night goes. I could cover this soda bottle in Vaseline and forget that I sat on it. How could I forget that? It's so enjoyable. I remember seeing that when I was younger and be like, damn, he's buff. Nah, he looks kind of soft. No pun intended.
Word spread around campus.
And I don't mean flaccid. Like, he didn't...
Parties to plan.
He's definitely bigger and more sculpted now.
Liaison was born. At the
No
Hill
homo.
House, I broke bread.
Then I broke the boredom. I was slightly worried that there wouldn't be enough content in this for me to actually do a whole commentary. We'll see how it goes, but I'm starting to get those feels right now.
Second party that she's gone to. I was hearing. Threatening?
Okay, what is this called? Croquet?
Both my fraternity and the student.
Lawn golf or something? This shit looks so goddamn boring. Like, is this your idea of a competition? What the fuck? It's like a board game out on the grass. You hit the fucking ball with this mallet, like it goes 4 feet in the yard. You go through the little, like, what a dumb game. People were really that bored back in the day, huh? And why is it like a rich person thing to play shitty games?
And smart.
Oh, God. Like, what is the point in being good at this? What are you doing? And you look like a jackass. You look like such a hoity-toity asshole with that stupid... Looks like a giant version of a kid's toy hammer over your shoulder as you knock these fucking tiny bowling balls around your yard. Here comes the obligatory, no offense if that's what you're into, everybody has their own thing. I don't care if you're offended. You can like croquet, I don't like it, fuck you. He sneaks in and gives her the rain jacket. See, he's just so charismatic. Right about now, see that look she gave him? She's like, you son of a bitch, I'm starting to fall for you.
I'm not getting in that big.
If you want the story.
You sly motherfucker.
What happened? Everyone okay?
It's just such a Ryan Reynolds part. What happened? Is everyone okay?
Are we gonna get in trouble for being in here?
No, it's cool. The equipment manager owes me a favor. I introduced him to his wife. Life is all about developing.
Ice hockey's a weird thing. I have a relative that plays ice hockey. Not like professionally or anything, but plays in an adult league and it's pretty competitive.
I admit.
And I've been to many of the games. And it's actually quite exciting to watch in person. But I cannot watch it on TV. I just couldn't give a shit less. It's such a weird disconnect for me. It's one of those sports that I just could never get into. but I can go to a game live and enjoy myself. I don't. Maybe it's because I've ice skated a couple times. I never played hockey. I don't live in an area that's really conducive to that unless you're gonna go to a rink. Which then again, look at them. They're in a nice area, but this is the college rink. Soccer is better live to me than it is on TV. As long as you have good seats. Seats at a live team sports event are so important because you have to be able to see the action entirely and equally in your perspective. You know, like being on one end and not being able to see the other end. That really makes it so you can only watch half the game in detail. That kind of shit. Or if you're sitting way too far up, you can't tell who anybody is.
Maybe 7 years.
She looks like she needs a hug to keep her warm. She needs to huddle up together.
So, how long have you...
She's definitely got some heavy makeup going on.
I bet he's a tiny white.
I've noticed a lot of girls that wear a lot of makeup,
You, Granny? He said that.
and they are all broken out on their face, and they're using all the makeup to cover up that they're all broken out on their face. But I'm pretty sure all that shit they're painting on their face is what's causing them to break out. I noticed it on like Big Brother. There was a girl who's just plastered on the makeup, and when you would see her without makeup on, she had zits everywhere. Now, I don't know which came first, the horse or the cart, but I've seen several cases of that where I'm like, maybe if you just didn't put so much makeup on.
You take life way.
Like, my wife wears, like, mascara, I think, and that's it.
You know, I used to party with this guy.
When she wakes up in the morning and I see her, like, that's how I'm used to seeing her. That's what I'm accustomed to. I still think she's pretty. I don't know that it's so necessary to just fuck your face up with all that. And then you're putting more shit on your face to try to slow down the effects of all the other shit you're putting down your, like, anyway.
Obviously. And I am
If you want to do it,
enjoying the present.
I think it looks good. I like it. You're beautiful. Power to you.
Who believes that
I just don't think that it's entirely necessary.
You actually read that article?
And it's a lot of fucking work. Like, that's the one thing that's great about my wife. It doesn't take her any time to get ready. She doesn't have to, like... I had family members that it used to... When I was a kid, I'd be staying over at their house. And I mean, they would go take a shower, and it would... All told, the shower, the makeup, the hair, all that bullshit, it would be like 2 hours later before they were ready to leave.
Way into himself and shit.
Like, you could watch it... They could tell you they're going to get ready, and you could watch an entire movie, and they still wouldn't be done. That is like... You're wasting your life. That's how I look at that kind of shit. I'm a weird person. I look at preparing and eating food as a waste of time most of the time. That's why I generally only eat once a day unless I'm really hungry. Because I would rather do something else than stop and eat. I forgot how I got onto that topic. Homeboy, this is a bit of a bullshit scene. I mean, it works on in the movie, kind of, especially if you don't know anything about smoking weed. Because at this point, I'd never smoked weed. And so, but wouldn't that thing he was trying to put the weed in to light, it didn't have a hole in the bottom, right? It wasn't like a bowl. It's just like a knob and a piece of plastic. So what did he think? How is he going to get any airflow? I don't know. Maybe I'm totally overthinking this. But the fact that he just put his mouth on Taj's dick pump is... And Taj seems way too smart to believe that a dick pump is going to work. Fellas. Your dick is your dick. Find somebody who's okay with it. Odds are, if you find a woman that really loves you for your personality and all that shit, she'll be willing to put up with a subpar dick because she likes you and she likes the intimacy and being close with someone more so than she wants the porn star penis. But do not try to do all this bullshit to make your dick large or bigger, and it's all snake oil. You cannot do it, okay? You're just gonna waste your money and fuck yourself up. Like a penis pump, really? When you were a kid, did you ever like suck on the skin on your arm and get like a vacuum going, and then you pull it away and you have that big purple circle from the blood being sucked to the surface of your skin? Now just picture that's your entire dick is that big throbbing purple, like...
This semester's marks can very well determine the next 10 years of our life.
That came out wrong. It just doesn't make sense to me. And as Joe Rogan said in one of his stand-up specials, if dick pills worked, 100% of men who could afford dick pills would be on dick pills. I mean big dick pills, not like boner dick pills. I don't know anything about those. Don't have a problem there. At least that's what she tells me. He pulled those up so high. That looked so uncomfortable. Like my balls. Oh.
Bitch.
This kind of hoity-toity, uptight lifestyle was just never appealing to me. It feels like you can't do anything. Everything's out of bounds. And they usually do some dark shit, but in secrecy. It just seems all for show and fake.
Wow, they're gonna be there?
The insults are crafted in a way and intellectualized to kind of make everything more civil and so, I don't know, not so overt. I just don't like that. Everything has to be in its right place at all times. It looks like you can't use the room. It's never been lived in. Now this room is never into raves either. Not a fan of house music or techno or dubstep. Or glow sticks. Now, if I was on ecstasy, it might be a different story. When you're on ecstasy, you're into weird things. One time I was walking around at the mall, and I just had body sensations. It felt good just to move my body. Like you know those kind of, when you go on a little dip on a roller coaster and you get that like tingly feeling in your stomach. Some people don't like it. I like it. It was like my whole body was feeling that just walking around. And everything looked awesome. Well, hello, ma'am. Did you have that pearl necklace a second ago?
Evelyn, this is one of your daughter's acquaintances from school. There's room for one more, isn't there?
By all means, come in, please.
I love this scene because this fucker invited him over to try to make a fool of him. It's all these dignified MDs and gynecological experts and whatever the fuck you want, and diplomas galore.
Excuse me, gentlemen.
And he's gonna try to make him look stupid, show him that he doesn't fit in.
Proctologist. Oh.
And Van just wins him over.
I hope you're not on call tonight. Huh? Beaverman. Oh, OBGYN.
Look at the shine coming off that motherfucker's head.
And of course, Gwen's father.
Oh, I'm gonna go out on a limb here.
Doctor?
Doctor Pearson?
Indeed. Indeed. Super.
Did he say MD or Indeed?
Am I here for a
I've gone back and forth. Sometimes I hear Indeed, sometimes I hear MD, and either one seems applicable. He says, let me guess, doctor? And he could say MD, or he could say Indeed. Both are basically effectively the same answer. It's confirmation. But
Mr. Wilder here is quite the
I guess it doesn't matter.
He's in his, 6th year?
It's hard to tell what he enunciated.
What are you studying, son? Well, I dabble in a little bit of everything. I've tried to experience all that Coolidge has to offer.
This is how I felt every time I had to meet a girlfriend's parents, though. I just felt like I was sitting in judgment, or they were sitting in judgment of me, and I didn't fit in, and I didn't have nice enough stuff, or I wasn't good. Like,
So intriguing that.
I have a bit of an inferiority complex.
The school newspaper.
Well, isn't that wonderful?
I think, self-prescribed. Only recently kind of beginning to understand that, too.
Extremely gifted journalist.
Are you and Richard in the same fraternity?
Oh, no. Van isn't exactly Delta Iota Kappa.
I had a girlfriend
Richard, you rascal.
whose
You told me that you were a dick.
parents labeled me off of the first meeting at a high school football game because I had my hat on backwards and my ears pierced. So they said I was too gangster and didn't really like that I was hanging out with their daughter off that one. And I felt it every time I saw him from then on because we were together for a little while after that. And I went over to their house once to pick her up for a dance. And it was very cold shoulder. I didn't feel welcome there at all. And I didn't feel like they wanted me with her in any regard. And that relationship ended up ending on a ridiculous note where me, having been
Where are you going?
basically an atheist my entire life, It's never really made sense to me. See, I had this. See, here's Van. Fucking, he's got him doing body shots. Easy sailor. I missed if he's here, who's running hell. I don't remember what the fuck I was talking about. I was probably being too self-indulgent about it anyway. Those golf carts aren't bad to cruise around in. I worked at a couple of apartment complexes where we had golf carts, and it was a lot better than walking. And they have more power than you would think. If you just nudge them right up against a sidewalk curb, you know, like stand still, just barely, and then hit the gas, it'll climb up that fucking curb. You can't go barreling into it because you'll fuck up the chassis and everything, but if you just gently go up that over that curve, it'll climb it. That apartment complex was a pain in the ass to walk all around. We had to post newsletters on every door once a month, and it was like a 2.5 hour process, and by the end my back would be aching. I'm carrying this whole stack of fucking things, going up and down stairs, taping these things to people's doors that they don't care about.
Don't think I don't remember. You got an A in my freshman economics class. You remember one thing, young man. Apathy is the glove into which evil slips its hand. I'll write that down.
And you remember, I better not hear a ruckus.
You're not fooling anybody, Wilder.
I know hear ruckus.
Fooling yourself.
I heard a ruckus. See, now she's fully on board. She's done with pre-med dick. She's got her fuck me face on. That was definitely the seduction face. You know, the director said to her, Tara, look at the camera like you want to fuck it. And she did. You get that look from a girl. I know nowadays nonverbal cues aren't in vogue, but that's a nonverbal cue. A girl gives you that look, it's your game to lose from that point on. The style, too. I hate the way he dresses, I gotta be honest, but her style just reminds me so much of that era and what the girls were wearing. I guess there were people dressing like him, too, but I didn't. That wasn't my thing. I was raised more into hip hop. That's hard to say too because I have a strong heavy metal influence as well. But I definitely dressed more hip hop, especially at this age. Jerseys, matching hats, all the like. I know. I definitely got called a wigger plenty of times. I shouldn't have to explain to you what a wigger is. I think you can connect those dots. I will add one clue that I'm white.
Oh yeah, he's ready.
It's go time.
Oh no, it's the jerking off the dog scene. I think it's about time to have a cigarette. I've mentioned American Pie quite a few times during this commentary, and this scene makes me wonder if it wasn't spawned from somebody seeing Jim fucking the pie in American Pie, and then afterwards his dad says, well, we'll just tell her we ate it all. And I wonder if somebody was like, what if somebody did eat the pie? And they're like, well, we couldn't do that, but what if the dog jizzes in the pastry and then they eat it? I think I've had these before. It's still warm. It's nice and creamy. My wife can't watch that scene. She gags and looks away. She says she's gonna throw up. I don't have a problem with it, and it's not because I like semen. I never got that grossed out by it. I get grossed out by other stuff, but that was, I mean, I wouldn't want to do it, obviously, if I was in the room. See there, I just put myself in the room with the dog being jerked off, and I gagged a little. It didn't go in my mouth.
Thank you, brothers. Not like you can see out of it anyway. Loser.
And I like how they are satirizing the hazing process for these fucking frat douchebags. What the fuck, Genie? And that weird groupie chick that he's got. Oh, the sound effects. I think I've had this before. Okay, I guess the throw up at the end kind of I don't like watching people throw up, especially massive quantities. So at the end here, when they figure out what's going on and the jig is up and their tummies get to rumbling and they spew that shit all over her, I don't like watching that part, which is why I'm standing over by my patio door having a cigarette and I can barely see the screen. I just broke the imaginary wall there. I came into your visual cortex through audio means. I'm fucking up mediums all over the place. I once got down in a Burger King bathroom. Oh shit, Naomi just took her top off and I'm standing over here so I can't see it. That's an asshole move. You go from the grossest scene in the movie to the hottest scene in the movie. He sure gets her going quick. He didn't have to do a lot. Like, she was DTF as soon as she said yes to coming over, it looks like. Because he is fumble fucking this all around. I don't know about the female side, but I know as men, we definitely put way too much pressure on ourselves. Like, this has to be perfect. We have to do everything right instead of just kind of letting it happen. I could not die a virgin. When he lubes himself off, he's so much oil, he's gonna slide across her fucking back like a car. He really did that. Oh my god, like a fucking car hood. You get me so damn hot. Oh shit, it is the white berry.
The culmination of my being.
Baby, I'm about to culminate. Get over here.
Damn, dude, she's about to culminate. He could just like blow on her nipple ever so gently and she'd come. Just
Burning up? You are most amazing
to get me so damn hot. Oh, I love how he fucks it up so bad. I don't know why. I should be rooting for him.
Massage oils, berry wine. Yeah. We can't be.
He's just going about it all wrong. See, you're putting the pussy on a pedestal. And he just burnt up all of Van's money. That is the major fuck up of the issue. Vagina will come, vagina will go. But money burned is not money saved and can't be money spent. I think Confucius said that. Might have been Socrates. Yeah, I think it was Socrates. He said it to like the Romans in the LA Coliseum or something. The defunct ABA franchise, the Texas Romans. Speaking of Socrates, the movie Always Outnumbered was an HBO movie from, I think, the late 90s. Lawrence Fishburne. He played Socrates Fortlow. Y'all ever seen that movie? It's a good fucking movie. That movie's real. That movie's dark. The movie's gritty. I like it. I could not find that movie anywhere, digitally, pirated, otherwise. Looked high and low for that movie. My wife ended up having to order the DVD for me online. Can't find it in HD, can't find it to stream, it's been a few years since I checked, so they might have moved it over to some digital platform, but years ago, we had to order the DVD online. I'm pretty sure I still have it. I haven't watched that movie in a long fucking time.
Team really does need your love, folks.
Another one that resonates for me because one of the main characters is a young boy. I was a young boy the first time I saw it. He's living a hard life. I was easily able to put myself in his position, and it was terrifying actually. It was almost like a horror movie for me. And then really, as I got older, I realized it was a character piece and it had some great drama and kind of moral dilemmas, and it's a good fucking movie. Anyway, this is just so... What is body shaming? Is that the fucking term used today. You can't say that fat people shouldn't be fat. Actually, I can. I can't say that they're not allowed to be fat. You're allowed to be fat, but I'm allowed to tell you that you shouldn't be fat, just like people love to tell me all the time that I shouldn't fucking smoke cigarettes. Being fat will kill you just as fast. Watch. Watch. My wife and I just saw the movie Richard Jewell the other day. That fucking guy, on top of having, having lived through a very stressful situation and having become famous for all the wrong reasons when he should have become famous for all the right reasons, he died of heart failure at 44. And during the whole movie, I couldn't help but think about how overweight that motherfucker was. And I know the actor himself, who's still alive today, is also overweight, but it was uncanny how accurate the depiction was. He looked just like the real life Richard Jewell. And carrying that much extra weight around is not good for you, especially for an extended period of time. It's just not. Body's not meant to function that way. Now this has turned into a soapbox railing against fat people. I did not intend for it to be that. It's that thing that goes unmentioned, though, because everybody likes to play this fucking bullshit. I want to get in better shape. I would do that. I can't, but they don't show it with the effort, and that just pisses me off. And the idea that it's somehow courageous or brave to be fat and lazy instead of having a physique that you actually had to put forth effort for, it's just complete and utter nonsense. The world's upside down. Everybody wants credit for shit that is meritless nowadays. All want to get attention for something that they can just say with their mouth that has no substance to it, no evidence to back it up.
What's wrong with you?
Nothing. I'm fine. Let's get out of here. Go grab a beer.
Are you insane?
When they're going through this anatomy lesson and he says dorsal appendage, I always think of Ace Ventura.
Okay, very cute.
The Cayman Harbor porpoise has an abrupt snout. Damn it. I don't even remember how the line goes. But he says the bottlenose dolphin has a dorsal appendage. I fucked that whole explanation up. Fuck me, I'm the worst person alive. Grandma's boy. I'm a piece of shit. I should die. Oh, it'll be enough, Taji. There are kids outside for recess, so if you hear any random noises, I don't have anybody locked in the basement or anything. This isn't a Fred Krueger situation. There's just a school out back, and it seems like these kids are perpetually on recess. I think that they cycle them through by age. I think that they only have certain grades outside at a time, and so because of that, it's basically staged all day to where there's kids outside. My son goes there, but he's in kindergarten, so he's not yet able to give me an accurate explanation of how everything works. I know they have different lunches and shit, but that was common when I was in school, but I don't know about like first recess, last recess, all that shit. Seems like there's kids out here all day long.
Doodles. I took a class.
Speaking of the little dude, I'm gonna have to go pick him up not too long.
And a few that weren't stepping the wrong one, like I heard. Stay.
Calm down. Yep. Calm down, Barbara Bush.
Don't do it for me.
I walk to go get him. I'm perfectly capable of doing that off of a couple hits of weed. Don't worry. If anything, I'll be extra safe. I can handle it. Gotten him this far.
I shouldn't be in the women's locker room, but sometimes you gotta let your heart lead. Even if you
Yeah, you shouldn't be in the women's locker room because you can probably get thrown out of school for something like that. Just guessing. Nowadays, he would just have to... Never mind. I don't want this to turn into a political rant podcast, but he could very easily get into the women's locker room nowadays on some bullshit, too.
I'm sorry.
That score was a little bit hokey. Just saying.
I'm here to enlist your services.
Let me guess.
How much longer do we have left in this movie? I thought this was a shorter movie.
Your mom can come.
Wonder how long I've been recording. Let's check. I've been recording for an hour and 10 minutes, so
We're settling down.
it probably has 20 minutes left, if I had to guess.
No, please.
Just a guess.
You should be interested.
You can guess too if you'd like. You can come too if you like. That's not a knife. This is a knife. Come to Outback Steakhouse. 15 meals for under $15. It's like having a brick in your mouth. We goin' Sizzler. We goin' Sizzler. We goin' Sizzler. Shut your malnourished Bahamian diet drinking ass up. Oh shit. I gotta do White Man Can't Jump. So I've decided that I'm going to do primarily movie and TV show commentaries going forward, kind of like I was doing back when I first started, just because of the time constraints. There's less to do on the post-production side. It's easier to get them up, and it's easier for me to have a flow and actually produce content. When I try to just sit down and do a review video or something, the ideas aren't flowing. It's not coming out. It's not feeling right. So for the foreseeable future, it's going to be primarily commentaries, unless a really good idea for something pops into my head for a different kind of video that I have to do. And I might mix in some, like, I've had an idea to do like kind of a compilation of all the shit that they did wrong with Michael Myers and Halloween 4, and some different things along those lines. Some stuff about the Scream franchise and how much I hate Roman. That all might be in the works. This guy does not have a romantic bone in his body, this pre-med dick. His great intro to his proposal speech was that this couple is good because they're compatible. But at that point, I kind of understand. He's so focused on being a doctor that nothing else really matters for him. And he's kind of just going through the motions of this relationship and the proposal and getting married because he feels like that's what he's supposed to do at that point in time, more so than it actually being what he wants to do, per se. I'm projecting all this onto him, but he clearly is uber obsessed with becoming a doctor and probably should get that accomplished before he worries about wifing up. God damn it, I think I missed the... I missed the phone call, didn't I? He calls Gwen's room, and the girl with one of the nicest asses in the world, that chick is the hottest chick in the movie, answers the phone. It says, Gwen's not here, I'm just using her computer. I've seen this movie quite a few times, if you couldn't tell. But that was one of those, when that girl came on the screen and I was 15, I was like, oh my God.
I'm old enough to be jealous of that one.
Now this girl here, there's nothing wrong with her. She's got a solid girl next door kind of Kelly Clarkson thing going for her. But she's definitely not worth fucking up the Gwen thing. Then again, he already thinks that the Gwen ship has sailed. He thinks that she's engaged, and this is hitting him hard. He's questioning himself as a man. He might go home, fuck the sleeve of his favorite jacket. What? Pretty smashed, but I think that was my room. Wasn't it?
What am I doing here? What were you doing in there?
As smashed as I am.
You get a little bit of the feeling that if he wasn't in college, he would have a large collection of hairnets and name tags.
She reads at a sophomore level.
No, this was a big mistake, man.
Imagine if there was YouTube in this kind of era, though, like for a Burt Kreischer type character, or if this Van Wilder guy was real. Imagine the YouTube channel that motherfucker would have. or the social media following that fucking guy would have from all the people going to his parties and all the like. He'd get some shit accomplished, entrepreneurial wise. He could be selling some merch. But back then, college athletes aren't allowed to get paid. You're making money off them, aren't you? Last time I checked, money rolls downhill. No, it doesn't. Shit rolls downhill. Money goes up. The mob rules. I do think college athletes should be paid because there's TV deals, there's shoe sponsorships, there's all kinds of shit, and you're basically just closing them out because you can, not because it's what a sane person would look at objectively and say is fair at all.
How you doing, man?
Oh, I'm doing great. How you doing, brother?
I hate to break this to you, Ming, but you ain't Asian.
I haven't even mentioned this fucking
Well, you better get out here.
God damn it, Van's black friend with the ramen noodles on his head here. That guy got famous from The Real World. He was on one of the seasons of the MTV's Real World, like season 11 or some shit. Next thing you know, he's popping up in fucking movies. Now, I don't think he really turned it into a career. He didn't parlay that so well, but the opportunity was there. That's the kind of era that it was. It was a very MTV, but not the 80s MTV influenced. It was the MTV reality show influence. What you out here barking at? Come in the house. I'm talking to my dog, not the kids. She's a super nice dog, but she's protective when people walk around behind the yard. Yes, she is. Don't judge me for my dog talking voice. Everybody talks to dogs different than their normal voice. It's like a prerequisite.
Touch? Hell no, man. I've been at the door all night.
Good enough for me. Have fun, guys.
All right, Trevor.
I actually know somebody who was in this scene. It's already happened, but I've met them. My wife knows them. I will not disclose the name to protect the strange, but it's weird. It's one of the kids. They didn't have much of a tremendous career, but it's just weird to think about them as a kid being on this movie set. I wonder how much they were exposed to, and I don't mean from like a explicit content or anything. Like, how much did they get to interact with the actors? How much do they remember the experience? Because in retrospect, that would have been fucking badass. She's wearing shorts with the waistband rolled over. Classic. She's definitely way too done up to be relaxed doing homework on her laptop on her bed. She should have sweatpants on, her hair should be up, she's going to be eating like a bowl of Doritos or perhaps a bag of miniature donuts. That's how you can tell a man wrote it. Because he's got the women in sexy situations all the time. They always look sexy. He's not showing the truth.
Why don't you go
That sounded bad. That sounded like I was saying. You understand the gist of what I meant there. The words might not have exactly been as well crafted as I would have liked, but the intent was what really mattered.
Is there anything I can do for you today? Oh my god.
It's the best 15 seconds ever.
I was so
Ever.
And you were so like
That would be rough.
Now this?
You shut up. Try to pleasure you.
Most guys probably think they come too soon, but 15 seconds.
Yes, this is awesome.
That would be a hard. It would. You think you would get demoralized by it? And it would, God damn, with that skirt, what are you doing?
Here, I'm done.
You think after a while you'd be like, what's the point? It's going to be over in 15 seconds. For both parties, the man and the woman. Like, if I was coming in 15 seconds, I'd be like, let's not even bother. You know it's going to be, like, you'd be emasculated by it. Be like, it's going to suck. Why would I even... And I know you're going to be like, well, you just got to go down on her and stuff. It's like, yeah, but do you want to have to do that every single time just so that you can fuck her for 15 seconds? I don't know. Is the juice worth the squeeze on that one? You're gonna have to tell me. You decide. How to speak San Franciscan. Vagina. Ah, it wasn't a gay joke. It was an Australian joke. He has a naked behind her, but it doesn't have the paper or whatever the hell. You can see through it. I mean, I'm not hating. So he's getting kicked out of school for the... God damn, Mary Jane. There's my dog. She had to make an appearance. Just trying to get a fucking bone out of her wagon that holds her toys. She turns into a dipshit when she tries to do that. I know that she can get the bones out, but she'll sit there and fumble fuck around with them like Ace Ventura with his keys before he goes into his apartment. Yes, Satan? She's just all kinds of noises. It usually happens when I sit down at the end of the day and want to try to watch a show with my wife or something. Like, everything's calm, the kid's in bed, we've got a couple hours before we have to go to bed, and we're just gonna chill. And then the dog starts whining, barking, or making a bunch of noise with her toys. Because no justice, no peace.
7 years! I've accomplished nothing. There's no reason to stay here anymore.
Sure.
You've accomplished so much.
In the drop of a rupee would do anything for you, but that doesn't mean much, huh? And who cares about Sick Boy and all the charities you've helped and all of our athletics, huh?
I'm running a little bit low on steam here. Gotta be honest. What the fuck are you wearing, Taj? His undershirt is longer than his button-up. Never been a fan of that look. The outermost layer has to be the longest. Has to cover up the other ones. You can't have tails of different shirts sticking out and shit. Look like an overstuffed Oreo.
In me. If you do not see potential in yourself, then you are a blind man. I'm leaving.
Nice wallet chain, you asshole. You going to the gay club later with the Hells Angels?
Dare to be great situation. It is at your doorstep. We need to talk.
Everybody is so invested in whether or not he stays that they've all gone through the student law book or whatever the shit it's called. Get me the law club. This guy, I forgot about the law club. It's the token black guy from Not Another Teen Movie. Yo, dog. I'm supposed to be the only black guy in this movie. Damn. Shit. Yeah, I know. It's whack. If the glove doesn't fit, you are all full of shit. And they're so invested in him staying, but really his only option is to graduate, in which case he's going to be gone anyway, and that's the same result for them.
We are now in session.
They're all chanting "Let Van stay," but he's just going to... I guess they don't know that yet. They know that he's just trying to appeal, but they don't know that he's going to offer the ultimatum that to make him graduate.
The floor is yours.
The deaf guy's sitting behind him in court. He should be sitting behind the stenographer so he knows what's going on.
As you know, I've been a student here for 7 years, and...
Milty! For the longest time, I thought he was one of the Jackass guys, but I don't think he is, actually. I don't think he's the guy from Sergeant Bilko, either. I think he's too young.
Continue, Mr. Wilder.
Man, back in the day, some of that Jackass stuff. The first time I ever saw Jackass was... I turned it on, and it was Preston, the big, huge, fat guy, in a wife beater and tighty whities, chasing Wee Man, also in a wife beater and tighty whities, down the street in public, in the middle of the day. Just this big, huge guy chasing this little guy all through town. And I laughed and and I could watch that now and it would not be funny to me at all. I cannot explain why it was so funny then. You'd never seen anything like that before. God damn, I laughed hard at that scene. How does this pre-med asshole get to be on the school board? These are all like professors with tenure and shit, and then you've got this douchebag that's pre-med over on the end who gets a vote. That suit jacket is so big. Baggy clothes were...
Responsible for that party, so what happened was my fault.
I thought that baggy clothes were in style just because people wanted to hide their fat, that they were fat. Like, it was the easiest way to hide what your body actually looked like. That's what I thought. And now looking back on it, it's like, that just looked like shit.
I am pleading to this committee, reinstate me, let me audit my last 6 classes, take the necessary finals, and leave Coolidge. With a degree.
8-year degree in general studies? What are you gonna do with your life, man?
Crimson and blue for nearly a decade. This school has given me so much, let me repay Coolidge.
Oh, you can repay us by getting the fuck out. Don't forget to tip your waitress. How much of this movie is left? 17 minutes. Some of that's got to be credits and stuff, though, right? I'm bouncing off the walls again. Whoa, I'm bouncing off the walls again.
Sociology and political science.
Wow, quite lovely.
Well, Dan can handle quite a load.
That kind of makes sense, but it would have been better if she said, I can help Van handle his load or something like that. Because saying that he can handle quite a load makes it sound like he's taking dick.
Reinstatement.
Taking it where?
Professor McDougal, you know, I've waited a long time for this day.
Hello, I'm Devin, and welcome to the Movie Poop Shoot podcast. You need to stop coughing, senor. What the hell is Taj wearing? Looks like some kind of wealthy priest. It's a dick supporter. Like a jockstrap. Look at this jockstrap bitch.
In one beautiful symbiotic act. What sort of act? Messing up that Van Wilder party. And then we bumped uglies.
This bitch has no reason to tell her this stuff, but it's a hokey kind of movie.
Ever.
Yes, these interviews are somewhat of a formality, but I think it's crucial. We like-minded people get to know one another.
Look at him with his Lacoste shirt, practicing his fucking speech. Ooh, she's gonna give him the colon blow. Or his colon blow from Dumb and Dumber. It's a scene that's appeared in a bunch of movies, but this movie does it as well as any of them. Dumb and Dumber's is a great diarrhea scene. I should do a ranking of diarrhea scenes. Although I know it has to have happened in more movies, but the only ones I can think of at the moment are this one and Dumb and Dumber. Where else is there a diarrhea scene? Nope, colon blow. That's what she gives him. Ha! Knew it. Actually, I didn't know it. I definitely second-guessed myself, and if I had to put money on it, I would have said that colon blow was from Dumb and Dumber. But I should have known better, because I've seen this way more times than Dumb and Dumber. I like Dumb and Dumber, but I've seen this way more times. So when I have that image in my head, it's most likely going to be accurate, or at least most likely going to be the movie that I've seen more times. See, she has adequate reason to do that to him. It's justified. And he is in this situation right now where it says no bathroom breaks. I don't know that they would let you do that, but if it was really like a medical entrance exam, they can't have you going out of the room to look up answers or something. So he's got to take a wicked shit, and he just started this uber important exam. It's one of the worst things you could do to this guy, and he totally has it coming. But when he shits later, oh man, it's one of the best payoffs on an X-Lax scene in cinema history. I've never been in a situation quite like that, but I think we've all had bubbly guts in a less than conducive situation. I can remember being in the computer lab once in elementary school, and my stomach was just a rumbling, and they're trying to explain this shit to me, and it's in one ear and out the other. All I could focus on was squeezing my ass together.
Now remember, the 20 final, take a pre-game dump.
Always take a pre-game dump. It's like he says on Final Destination. Take a dump before we get on the plane, because you don't want to have to take one while we're up there. Next thing you know, you come out, right behind you goes a hot chick. She's going to have that impression of you burned into her nostrils forever. Oh, he just caught him around the waist while he has the stomach. Oh, goddamn. He wore his brown pants, but I don't think they're dark enough. He's sweating. It looks like a whore in church. And he's meeting some of the most important people he's ever going to meet. Oh, God. It's such a great comeuppance for this asshole. And he's such a great asshole. That chiseled jaw. Looking like a knockoff Superman. Oh, he hit him in the stomach.
Richard, is there something you want to say? You want to get something out?
Go for it. Come on, let it go, dude. He shits in the garbage can. Oh, I'm bleeding. Oh my God. One of the best shit scenes ever. As I've mentioned several times now. Look at that vintage Diet Coke can. I mean, I don't know if you could call it vintage because it's not that old, but it's definitely not what they look like anymore. Oh, those are beautiful accidents. He studied anatomy using a dog scrotum, and his final, the model is a dog scrotum. Perfect. One time, we had a test on a book for English, and I hadn't read the book. And I went on my phone. I had a flip phone that had internet access. This is back in like 06. And I went on my phone and I read the Cliff Notes. And after I was done, I took a practice test. It tells you which ones you get wrong. You get a chance to see why you got it wrong, fix your answer, etc. So I arrived the next day at class, and he gives me the same fucking test. The Cliff Notes practice test, in the same order, word for word, is what he put down on my desk. And I was just like, oh. To this, I couldn't even tell you what that book was called, but I got 100% on that goddamn test. Worked like a goddamn charm, it did.
Mr. Wilder, I'm so glad you could fit us into your schedule this morning.
School was never too hard for me, so instead of becoming enthralled with the learning process, etc., I became obsessed with the getting over process, getting out of things, getting away with doing as little as possible because I could get away with it. But that's not a good setup for the adult world at all. I didn't have to learn how to apply myself because I never needed to, basically, which sounds cocky to say, but it's true. I just kind of coasted through high school with an over 3-point GPA. I just didn't really have to put that much effort in. So then when I got to the adult world and you're measured more off effort, then, it's not like at the same standard where people are kind of held back from advancing from the pack. That's more encouraged. I did take a community college class, but I got kind of upset because I thought that it's like we're paying to go hear everything. They're going to give us the opportunity to kind of separate. We're not going to hold back the entire class for people who don't get it the way that used to always frustrate me in high school. Because I know that they're just trying to get it and there's people with different abilities, but it was frustrating as somebody who got it right away to have to sit through 15, 20 more minutes of it being explained to everybody else when we could have already been advancing to other things. And then you compound that day by day by day by day by day, you check out and you just learn how to get by with as little effort as possible because your mind's on other things. Anyway, I'm talking over this really heartfelt article that Gwen wrote about Van. How he's united the school yet again for another cause. This time the cause is their love of him.
No, she hasn't yet gone back.
I guess his hair doesn't look too much like Top Ramen. Usually when black guys go blonde, it comes out looking like a lot like Top Ramen. Like Odell Beckham Jr.'s hair looks like Top Ramen, but his has more of like a Jerry curl look to it. And Tux there is more fro-like.
Wilder?
McDougal?
Fuck, what does he say in
Pad you got here.
the other movie?
Rated an early
God
fuck.
damn it. I don't know why I'm spending so much time trying to think of this. I saw his face and I really wanted to say whatever line that he says from the other movie, and I just can't think of it right now.
And just as I expected,
Not the ruckus line, something
you
else.
succeeded. 91%. What? I'm proud of you, Wilder. I've been waiting all these years for you to realize your potential.
Oh, I didn't like the hairstyles of that era, though, because it's like, what is that? It's like combed, it's not combed, it's kind of over here, it's kind of over there. Do you care? You don't care? You definitely care because you put a lot of effort into it, but the final result looks like you didn't care that much, like you're going for the I don't care look. Then again, that's been Ryan Reynolds' hairstyle basically perpetually since he became famous. He has that in most movies. Gets a little bit longer, a little bit shorter. It's basically the same. Oh, he graduated. Now he's going to go away still. Everybody else around there is trying to graduate early like a motherfucker so they can go wherever Van goes. I made that part up. That wasn't real. It wasn't even funny. I don't know why I said it.
I just transferred here from Bangalore.
See, I get why you would be attracted to this Indian exchange student, Taj. But what are the odds that she is a straight up freak the way you are? It's Jesse from Breaking Bad again. Like, yeah, that has to come into consideration. I've worked around a lot of people from India. There was an apartment complex that I mentioned before that I worked at, and it was like 70% people from India because they worked in tech, and it was a tech-heavy apartment complex coming in to work for Intel and such on contracts. And they are, by and large, very conservative and strict, which is why Taj is the way he is, because it's been suppressed for so long. He finally let the cat out of the box. But that doesn't necessarily mean that she's going to be the exact same way. She might be looking for a more traditional type, you know. Also, she gets to be in America for however long on the exchange program. She might not be interested in fucking a guy she could have fucked back home in India. Just saying. Maybe I'm reading way too much into this. Why are your shoulders all slanted back like that? I know they intended for that to look really stunning, but all I could look at was how it was just a straight line. Her shoulder down through her waist, like it all was just straight. There was no curvature looking stuff there at all. Face pretty as fuck though. Got that shiny lip gloss on.
As long as we cuddle.
I want to take you to the mall and buy you a pair of jelly shoes.
There's so much that I need to say. The article.
You had me at hello. You had me at hello.
I was scared that you wouldn't come.
Well, I was trying to decide.
I was scared that you wouldn't come. I've said that a time or two.
Once did you choose?
Oh God, I haven't really, but I was scared you wouldn't come. Why didn't you want to have sex with me? I was scared you wouldn't come. Was looking out for you. And there it is. That may have been a little more lackluster than I thought it would be. Just because I know all the jokes so well and everything, and it didn't have as much material to comment on as a lot of the movies that I do this for. So hopefully that didn't come out too flat and boring. Let me know what y'all think as we go through the bloopers and outtakes here. Of Of course, you can find me on YouTube, SoundCloud, Spotify, iTunes, basically anywhere that you listen to podcasts. YouTube, I don't know if I mentioned that or not yet. Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, the like, subscribe, share, comment, all that good shit. Until the next time, this is Devin signing off and saying, be easy.